That's a typical morning for my household. It was a special morning though, just because it was my birthday, and I got the birthday started off right by doing some rack rows in the morning, along with some pec deck, and the goal is to get 45 reps, just to kind of honor my 45th birthday. So I think for the most part, I can pretty happily say that, at 45, I'm loving life, never been happier. Obviously, I got a beautiful family, and I have a nice career in the sport, the hobby that I loved, since basically 1986. So it's been really awesome to kind of look back on everything with a lot of appreciation and a lot of happiness. So let's get to prep. So this prep so far, as I'm narrating this, it's June 28th. So I'm a little bit behind with the training footage here, but the prep itself has been, it's evolving is a good word to say. I think in the first couple weeks it was just getting myself acclimated to, regaining structure with food, and regaining like a daily routine, daily structure. And now that I've gone through, close to 4 weeks now, I'm basically kind of hitting a nice groove now. But the first couple weeks was definitely a little bit of some rockiness to it, but I'm definitely settling in. As far as my body weight, I've only lost about 3 pounds since I've started, and I'd say the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I really haven't seen nothing off the scale, and I really haven't made any adjustments to my macros. I'm still kind of hitting, 5 low days at 50 fat, 300 carbs, about 200 protein. And of course, I saved up some macros for that cake on my birthday. But yeah, it's just been 5 low days and then 2 high days, with 400 carbs, and I haven't deviated from that, and I'm not going to deviate from that, even though my progress on the scale isn't really showing anything, as of late. And in my mind, I'm like, fuck the scale, because visually, I'm seeing things starting to happen. Um, Seeing a little bit more coming in on my legs and my chest area, my upper chest area. I'm seeing things kind of tighten up there, and I think for many of us, and myself included, that you get up every morning, you weigh yourself, you're really hoping to kind of see that scale go down, the number go down, and when you don't, you're just like, fuck that scale, I want to throw that thing away, and it gets frustrating. And I think emotionally, for about a good 2 3 days, I was like, man, I'm spot on everything. Why isn't this scale moving? But being with the experience that I have, I know that. The scale really doesn't tell the whole tale. And like I said, visually, I'm seeing things happen. And, I'm, like I said, I'm just going to be patient, not make any changes. And the only thing I'm going to do is probably, get my activity level up, because I am very sedentary. I coach athletes, so I'm sitting in my office all day long, sitting down for a good portion of the day. So cardio for me is pretty, it's a pretty important tool. Like you saw the first clip in the video, I was out walking on the levee. That's something that I've only done the first 3 weeks of prep. I was only getting in like 1 to 2 sessions of that. So this week already, I've already basically gotten in two. It's Monday, Tuesday. I've already gotten two of those in. So I just need to keep, that cardio going, and I think as long as I keep my activity level up, then I'll start to see even more visual progress. And I'm not even going to stress on the scale. So I really don't want to make any food changes right now. I think lowering food down for me at the moment would be kind of a bad move, just because I don't want, it's so early stages of this prep. We're talking like over a year before I even get on the stage. So I don't want to be lowering down foods in the first month, right now. I think, my training right now, it's going really well, and I don't want to, lower food down and really risk any performance drop off, because basically, in order for me to kind of bring my best on stage, the driver of my physique is the weight training. And, if that starts to, go down, especially this early, then yeah, that's not going to be a good thing. So just basically just going to keep my little butt walking out there, 30 minutes. Try to get in at least 5 days a week of walking, and that is so low impact that that doesn't even have any negative consequences towards my weight training whatsoever. It'd be different if I was doing, let's say more hit sessions, or I was doing, a little bit higher intensity steady state. Then it might have a little bit of a risk factor for my performance and recovery in the gym. But we're talking, walking, and our bodies are meant to move. So walking is really not that big of a deal, especially like someone like me who's basically glued to their chair all damn day. But anyway, so that's kind of how the prep has been going. So in a nutshell, just, first couple of weeks was transitioning myself back into full structure, kind of in the full swing of that. So now it's, okay, now we're a little bit stuck on the scale, but I say again, fuck the scale. I'm seeing visual improvements, and my performance isn't dropping off. So there's, I don't want that to happen. So I'm keeping the food levels the same, and just really just gonna, get my activity levels up, just by walking. So that is kind of the change that I'm making right now, is just getting myself a bit more active. But as you can see here, kind of just went through kind of this week's training, or I should say last week's now training, split shifts. The reason I do AM and PM sessions is that I train with my wife in the PMs, or afternoons, and for the family dynamic, it's really hard for us to do a lot of exercises and a lot of sets and a lot of volume because it really impacts how much time we have to spend with the family. So we just do enough in the afternoons to, make sure she's getting in some decent work, I'm getting in decent work, but then I do the AM sessions for me personally to ensure that I'm getting enough volume for myself, which, for most people it doesn't seem like a lot, but for me, it does the job. It does the trick, and it's something that I've learned over the years that the volume I'm doing now, it's enough dose. It's like taking 1 to 2 aspirins. That's all I need. I don't need to take 4 or 5 aspirins every day or every session. Just give me 1 or 2. That's enough. It does a job, and then basically I move on to the next day. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's vlog. Until next week, keep you guys' training going, and we'll talk more next week.